They do cover. Yeah, I'm really not impressed with what the Steelers do early on in the season. Big Ben, as a matter of fact, 10 straight seasons now has thrown a pick in week number 1. I think they're going to come out slow here. Pony, I don't think the Steelers are going to be as good game.
I don't think the points from the offense, Dave, really matter much in this game because, in my opinion, of all the matchups in week 1, the Giants' offense against the Steelers' defense happens to be the biggest mismatch. You've got a defense that last year led the NFL in takeaways and sacks, going up against a whole new offensive line. And as Lisa said, a new offensive coordinator, Jason Garrett, who I don't think is very good. So easy Steelers cover, in my opinion.
All right, guys, let's stick with the same game here. Talk another popular bet right here at the FanDuel Sportsbook, the total. So will these teams combine to score more than 47.5 points? Andrew Filipponi, which way are you going here?
Well, I'm going to go with the over, and I know that goes against some of what Dave just put out there, but I think that if it is a sluggish start to the game for the Steelers, we're talking about an offense that I think eventually will find its way against a new-look Giants defense that I do not trust for a second, so I will be taking the over.
I think you're underestimating a little bit what the Giants could do on offense. I like the over as well, but I think they're really going to score on this Steelers defense. Evan Ingram, he's healthy. He had some foot surgery about halfway through the year last year. Barkley and Jones, this young duo, is going to be pretty phenomenal. Give me the over as well.
All right, over 47.5 here. Giants fans, here's how you cash in. Put down $50 on New York plus 3.5. They're getting points at home. If they cover, you collect almost $98. Hey, if you like the total bet as those guys do, the over has the same odds, so you're getting the same payout on that $50 bet. Here's how to find all these bets and all the Week 1 lines right here on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's so easy. Click on Football Then 2020 season. You'll see every matchup to kick off the NFL season. All right, time to give some love to the Jets now. Gang Green kicks off the season on the road at Buffalo. New York is getting 6 points in this matchup. Dave, give me your pick.
Well, you look at what Buffalo did last year. They won 10 games, but they only won 1 game against a winning team. I think they won a lot of games smoke and mirrors. I don't think they're that much better than the Jets. This line is too high for me. I like New York, Pony.
Well, you might like good teams against the Bills. The Jets stink. So I think that might defeat your argument right there, Dave. Buffalo's defense continuity is key in this weird 2020 season, Lisa. We're talking about the second-ranked defense last year in Buffalo, scoring defense. And they bring back Sean McDermott, a defensive head coach, and Leslie Frazier, their defensive coordinator. So for that reason, I don't think the Jets score many points in this game. And that's, to me, an easy Bills cover.
All right, now to the total bet for this matchup, Guy. The lineup at the FanDuel Sportsbook right now is 40. Dave, are you going over or under 40 for this Jets matchup?
I'm going to go under. I'm going to go what happened last year. The Bills did not score a point against the Jets in the first half in either of their games last year. This is going to be a low-scoring game. Pony, last week you said Sam Darnold was going to lead the league in passing, and now you're saying their offense stinks. You can't have it both ways.
Well, he can amass a lot of passing yards and still lose games. We saw it last year with Jameis Winston and the Bucs, Dave. That was not a very good football team at the end of the day. I'm going to take the over in this game. I think the Diggs, you see the graphic right there, his face. This is a big move for them to bring him in, Lisa. Last year, Diggs over 1,000 yards, best yards per catch of his career, and Buffalo will put up points.
That's right, Dave. Don't let Pony get away with that. I love it. Jets fans, your team is getting 6 points on the road here. Winning $50 bet on that line gets you more than $95. And the over has the same odds, so you'll also collect more than $95 on that bet as well. All right, let's bring in the guy that you're taking all of that money from. The odds maker himself, John Sheeran, sets the lines here at the FanDuel Sportsbook. John, we're talking Giants and Jets here. Any early betting trends that you've seen that have you kind of rethinking a specific line for these teams?
I think the story is relatively close to the same for both teams, Lisa. The Giants are 3.5-point underdogs at home against the Steelers in week 1, as you said. The line did touch 4 at one stage, back at 3.5. But all of the money has been for Pittsburgh. I can't see any way that this line moves any other way than towards Pittsburgh. The advice to any Giants bettors out there is wait until a lot closer to kickoff if you do want to take them on the spread. I can't see that moving any other way. Similar story for the Jets, Lisa. +6 as the guys touched on in Buffalo. I can't see many public bettors looking to take the Jets at less than a touchdown. I'm not sure it'll get as high as 7 points or even beyond that. I do think a lot of the pros early season with Buffalo's offensive struggles, although they do have Diggs now, as the guys said, I think they'll keep us honest and keep it under the touchdown. Wouldn't expect a ton of movement in that one between now and kickoff, though.
Great insight, Sharon. We'll see you again in just a few minutes. FanDuel's giving you more bang for your buck with some special bets. Jets fans, increased odds are waiting for you right now on the FanDuel Sportsbook app in a section called Odds Boosts. That simply means you win more money just for making that bet. Weaver, you've been betting on sports for more than 25 years. I mean, you wouldn't know it by looking at you, but give us the odds boost and why you think it could hit.
Oh, you would know it. There are some wrinkles starting in here. The first gray hair is pretty due, I'm sure. The odds boost for the Jets to make the playoffs, the odds were +430, now +480. Look, this is a pretty weak division. Dolphins aren't very good. I think the Patriots are down this year. I already mentioned that the Bills, I think, won a lot of games last year against bad teams. This is a division that could be won by the Jets if Sam Darnold breaks out, if Le'Veon Bell has a comeback year. Don't rule them out. +480 to make the playoffs right now on the Jets with the odds boost.
Great stuff, Dave. You look young and as fresh as ever, my friend. All right, y'all, hit up the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Take advantage of this odds boost available right now. Hit a winning $50 bet on this odds boost for the Jets. You collect $290. Thank you, Dave, for that. All right, let's move on. And it's not just the Jets. You can bet on any team to make the playoffs. These are simple yes or no bets, easy for anyone to make, and a ton of fun here. So let's get the right take now with our NFL analyst, Cole Wright, formerly with the NFL Network, now the new face of Marquee Sports Network. So let's keep this playoff conversation going here, Cole, for the Giants. They are +380 to make the postseason. Cole, Giants fans have hope here. What do the G-men have to do to make the playoffs?
Well, Lisa, I want to keep providing Giants fans with a little hope because at the end of the day, when all the dust settles, I really do see this Giants team making the postseason. Now, as crazy as it sounds, I see him making that second season as a wild card, but when you pair Daniel Jones with his new head coach, Joe Judge, and Jason Garrett at OC, despite what Pony says, Jason Garrett, he's probably going to be a little bit better as a coordinator. That could be the perfect fit. Now, last season, New York, their offense, it wasn't terrible, but we know that they were close to dead last in turnovers. So if they can limit those costly turnovers and make it through the shredder, when I say the shredder, I mean their first 10 weeks of the season, that's before that bye week hits, then they maybe have a shot. And, last time I looked, having a guy like Saquon Barkley at the running back position, that always helps your postseason chances. So last year, their 4-12 record, they're going to forget all about that. They're going to move on. I do see them playing for a Vince Lombardi trophy. I just don't see them going very far.
Okay, Giants fans, you can roll with that. You're getting great odds here as well. Place a winning $50 bet on the Giants making the playoffs, and you collect $240. All right, let's put a little math to our money now. Get the analytics answer from our numbers guy, Ed Egros, joining us from Dallas. Ed, you combed the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You found a couple lines that you really like. So let's expose them here. Where do the numbers take us, Ed?
Well, first off, let's talk about the total between Miami and New England. It's an intriguing one, and I know a lot of the spotlight has been on the New England quarterback situation, but I want to talk about Miami's Ryan Fitzpatrick. He is the most dangerous quarterback to bet on because he is volatile. Per Next Gen Stats, Fitzpatrick had the fourth highest aggressive throw percentage at 20.9%, meaning the nearest defender is within a yard of his target. He's been that way throughout his career. Also last year, Fitzpatrick finished 7th in intended air yards, pass attempt at 8.9. If the passing game isn't clicking, that aggressiveness could lead to some interceptions, especially to an opportunistic defense like the Patriots. With Cam Newton now at the helm for New England, I'm expecting them to have a conservative game plan. So I'm not going to see too many points here. Let's take the under 43.5.
And I'm going to tell you on this one because there is a lot of quarterback question marks in this matchup for both teams. Fitzpatrick trying to ward off Tua Tagovailoa, Cam Newton and the quarterbacks behind him with Stidham and Hoyer. So for that reason, I think right now it's hard to make an over bet on these offenses.
Absolutely. And Pony, there's another bet I think that has really good value here. It's the Saints giving 3.5 against the Buccaneers. What should we expect from Tampa Bay with Tom Brady instead of Jameis Winston? Well, last year, Winston ranked second in football in average intended air yards at 10.5. It leads to a lot of deep completions, but also a lot of interceptions. Winston was third in bad throw percentage at 20.5. For Tom Brady, well, safe to say he had less accomplished receivers in New England. He was 28th in average intended air yards at 7.6, and yet his bad throw percentage was still high, fourth worst and right at the same mark at 20.6%. Here is a bold prediction for you guys. I think the Buccaneer offense will be worse in the beginning. Saints will be consistently elite. Cover the spread.
I'm going to fade you on this one, Ed, because there's a trend happening with the Saints. Sean Payton's team, no good in week number 1. 6 straight seasons now they have failed to cover in week 1. I think they're the team that is going to be sluggish early on. I like the Bucs.
All right, and again, no preseason here to work those kinks out as well, so we can see how this will play out. But if you think the Bucs can cover the 3.5 they're getting, bet $50 on Tom and his new teammates. You're going to get almost $98 on a winning bet. FanDuel Sportsbook app, and you can find it there right now. All right, now it's time to turn things up with our More Ways Wildest Wagers of the Week. Guys, this segment is pretty self-explanatory. Dave, you first. Let's get nuts with your wildest wager of the week.
This is a pretty wild one. I'm going to take the Chiefs' first-round pick, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, to win the rushing title this year. I think this rookie is going to have more rushing yards than anybody. You got Shady McCoy gone to Tampa. Damian Williams has opted out. This is the perfect storm for him to really carry the ball a lot on the best offense in the league. Kareem Hunt, as a rookie, won this same award for Andy Reid a few years back. I think this guy at 22-1 is worth a bet.
Well, that one gives you crow's feet, Dave. I don't know if that's going to happen. I can understand where the stress comes in with picks like that, but this is a crazy one for me. DJ Chark to lead the NFL in receiving yards. He is a under-the-radar fantasy stud. JJ can talk about that. Over 1,000 receiving yards last year. I see with Jay Gruden as the offensive coordinator in Jacksonville, they are going to throw it a ton with Gardner Minshew, the Washington State quarterback, and Chark, the longest shot to lead the league in receiving yards.
Yes, those are some pretty wild bets. And I totally dig it, by the way. And Dave, for the record, I am a high on Clyde Edwards-Helaire as well. Are you guys at home with our guys on their long shots? Check out those bets and much more on the FanDuel Sportsbook app and do it today. All right, let's move on. Every team right now has the same record, the same optimism, the same fresh hope for the postseason, Cole, including the New York Jets. Check back in with our NFL analyst, Cole. The FanDuel Sportsbook has the Jets at plus 430 to get to the playoffs, minus 650 to miss the playoffs. Any chance the Jets sneak in?
Lisa, I don't really see that happening. You know, I wasn't with Pony necessarily on the Giants, but I'm with them on the Jets. They're just not really a good team right now. Their postseason chances, let's file those in the slim to none category. You know, their defensive leader, Jamal Adams, we know he's gone. He's in the Emerald City. He's going to be playing on the other side of the ball as Russell Wilson. And that defense from a season ago, that's the whole reason that this Jets squad won 7 games. Now, offensively last year, the Jets, they had the worst offense in the league. And maybe the ageless wonder, Frank Gore, he's going to provide somewhat of a boost to that offense. But I don't really see that happening. The only way I see this team making the playoffs, which is, like I said, slim to none, is if Joe Flacco has a renaissance and comes out from under that clipboard and gets himself under center and finds a way. But like I said, I just don't see Frank Gore adding that boost. I don't see Joe Flacco adding that boost. So Jets fans, sorry about that. I don't see you guys making the playoffs this year.
All right, you're just looking at the tape and you're just seeing what you see. Thanks for the football take, Cole. Hey, Jets fans, though, you do you. If you're fading Cole and have faith in your team making the playoffs, make your bet now while you're getting plus 430. Win your $50 bet, and you collect $265. Let's check back in with the odds maker here at the FanDuel Sportsbook now. John Sheeran, get in here. Sheeran, we've talked about a bunch of bets here so far. Spread, totals, player props, futures. There really is some action for everybody. So which types of bets are you seeing that are getting the most love right now?
I'll center around the 2 local teams, Lisa. Cole touched on it there around the Jets, and you mentioned if the bettors were fading him to get involved. The truth is they're not. We've the total wins for the Jets at 6.5 this year. Pretty dominant move for the under, Lisa. About 3-to-1 ratio in terms of the money that we're seeing now, juiced to -130 as I look at under 6.5. That's been very, very popular. That's a good fun bet. Get an interest every week. Similarly for the Giants, I think to make the playoffs is a really interesting one that people always like to bet on. You have a bet at the start of the season. You don't need to part with cash every week. You get to watch the game and have an interest. Somewhat surprisingly, the Giants, with only 4 wins last season, have been really, really popular at +380. About 4-to-1 ratio on that market for them to make the postseason. Obviously, a lot of local bias money, a lot of loyal fans in this area, but pretty surprised to see all that money for the Giants to make the season off the back of last year, Lisa.
Yeah, you can front load your work and then just kind of let it ride. Thank you, Sharon. Don't have a FanDuel Sportsbook account? What are you waiting for? If you sign up now, FanDuel is sweetening the pot. New users get a risk-free bet up to $500. Yep, just download the app, sign up for a new account. If your first bet doesn't hit, it's all good. We've got your back. FanDuel will refund you up to $500 in site credit. So, guys, let's party. I need my team in here. Dave, Pony, Ed, you have $500 to place on a risk-free bet. So let's make our viewers some money here. Give me a team total that you're hammering that will lead to a big payout. Dave, I'm coming to you first.
I'm looking at the Chicago Bears, and I see this win total at 8. I mean, does John Sheeran think that this is 2018? So they have to win 9 games for me to lose? I think they're more likely to win 4, 5, 6, or 7 games. Their rushing defense was not good last year. 2 years ago it was. The Bears are a 4-12 team. Give me $500 on under 8 wins, and I'll pick up $884.
Yeah, I'm going to use my risk-free bet, $500 to take home a very robust $1175 on the Cowboys under 9.5 wins. So much fanfare for the Mike McCarthy hire, but I think now too many cooks in the kitchen. Kellen Moore is still the offensive coordinator. How is that going to work, that dynamic? Dak Prescott, he might have to put his stats before the team because he wants paid, and they lost their number 1 corner, Byron Jones. Their center retired. I can go on, Lisa. Very overrated team. The bet's going under.
Tony, in a few minutes, you're going to see some guys in clean white coats because you're crazy. I am going over the 9.5 wins for the Dallas Cowboys. Last year, they had an expected record of 11-5 based on points scored and points allowed. Actual record was 8-8. And typically over time, those teams bounce back the next year. The Cowboys are really more of an 11-12 win team. Adding CeeDee Lamb, adding Mike McCarthy, my $500 risk-free bet gets me $812.50.
Dueling bets, but hey, everybody wins. They're both risk-free. Sign up for a new FanDuel Sportsbook account to get your risk-free $500 bet. You can do it right now. It's easy, it's legal, it's live. Take your winnings if you hit. Get your money back if it doesn't. It's that easy. Hot takes still steaming. Good stuff, guys. Thank you. John Sheeran, they're calling you out here with these lines. They're placing those bets risk-free, and we want to keep the heat turned up. So I'm coming to you for this. Give us the one hot bet that you are seeing right now at the FanDuel Sportsbook, the one line, Sheeran, where everybody is placing their bet.
I think the MVP is really interesting, Lisa. A lot of action, somewhat surprisingly, on Drew Lock to win that. I know he gathered some momentum for the Broncos at the end of last year, winning the last 2 games, but at 55-1, I think there's far more likely bets, but that one's been pretty hot. Tom Brady, very, very popular in that market as well, Lisa. Anything to do with Tampa Bay this year, the public are all over. So they're the 2 that are really hot right now.
All right, Sharon, thank you. We'll see you in a minute. One of the big headlines this week from the NFL camps was 77 false positive COVID-19 tests from a laboratory in New Jersey. The league says that was due to a contaminated sample, but it certainly raises questions. If this could happen during the actual season, what would it mean for players and teams? Pro Football doc David Chow gives us his take on this latest news.
Anytime you have 77 positive tests, that's concerning. But the only good news is they were all false positive tests, meaning none of the players have it. So the NFL still has a clean streak across about 10, 12 days now of no players testing positive at all. They will have to adjust and deal with the false positive issue. Perhaps they will test more on Friday night and have backup testing on Saturday, point of care testing Sunday morning with immediate results, because no player, no team wants anyone ruled out when they don't even have COVID. And this actually gives the NFL a chance to respond to it. Overall, the NFL has been very responsive in letting people know about COVID so far, just like they do with injuries. It's never lower body injury, it's knee questionable. And I think the NFL will do the same thing with temperature reports, COVID tests, to let everyone have a fair playing field when they make their wagering decisions.
Thank you, Doc. Now let's talk about how you can turn $4 into $1 million. That's right, $1 million. All you have to do is enter the Sunday Million contest right now on FanDuel.com. Winner gets $1 million. The entry fee is just $4. There are different strategies you can use. One of them is stacking quarterbacks and receivers from the same team. FanDuel editor-in-chief JJ Zachariason gives us his top 3 stacks for Week 1 in DFS.
One low-cost stack that I like a lot in Week 1 is Teddy Bridgewater to DJ Moore. Teddy's getting a lot of love out of Carolina. He fits in this scheme. That's all great news. They're also facing a Vegas secondary that should be beatable in a game with a 46.5-point over-under. And DJ Moore makes the most sense as the stack with Teddy Bridgewater, given the fact that he's coming off that sophomore year where he had a 22% target share in 15 games. He should be the top target, maybe aside from Christian McCaffrey, in that offense, so I like the two of them as a low-cost option in Week 1. I also like Jimmy Garoppolo throwing the rock to George Kittle. You know, they're facing an Arizona secondary and defense in Week 1 that gave up the most schedule-adjusted fantasy points to the tight end position last year, and there's a lot of banged-up wide receivers in that San Francisco offense, so George Kittle should see a lot of targets. But then on top of that, in the 2 games against Arizona last year, the 49ers and Cardinals averaged over 57 total points per game, and they were the 2 best fantasy outings for Jimmy Garoppolo. So I love Jimmy Garoppolo to George Kittle in Week 1. And then the last stack that you can go to, Russell Wilson to DK Metcalf. It's a fairly obvious one. They're facing Atlanta. It's an inexperienced secondary. But then on top of that, it has a 49.5-point over-under. There should be a lot of scoring. Russell Wilson is rightfully one of the most expensive quarterbacks on the main slate, but DK Metcalf is a really nice value at $6,400, so I really like that stack of Russell Wilson to DK Metcalf.
Strategy. Thank you, JJ. Make sure to use JJ's info for a shot at winning $1 million in the Sunday Million contest on FanDuel.com. It's just $4 to enter. There's a prize pool of over $3 million, and it's a ton of fun playing some DFS with us. And FanDuel is also offering season-long fantasy in a new and unique way. It's called Best Ball, and guys, it's free. All you have to do is draft your team. After that, FanDuel does all the work. FanDuel will calculate your top scoring players for the week, and boom, that becomes your starting lineup. Play with up to 11 friends, or hey, against other users is fine as well. It's a snake draft format, and it is so much fun. It's easy, and all you have to do is download the FanDuel app or sign up at FanDuel.com. Try out Best Ball, do it now, and do it for free. All right, guys, last week we gave you gave us your picks for Offensive Rookie of the Year. This week, we're looking at the other side of the ball here. Who will win Defensive Rookie of the Year? Washington defensive end Chase Young, the favorite there. You see him on the board. Let's go around the horn here. Pony, I'm going to start with you. Who do you like for Defensive Rookie of the Year?
I love Isaiah Simmons. This is the new rage in the NFL, the Swiss Army knife defenders who can do it all. Linebacker, safety, Simmons, a nice bet.
I'm going to go to Patrick Queen, linebacker for the Baltimore Ravens from LSU. Here's a guy that's going to go sideline to sideline. This is the position that they needed desperate help on. He fills an immediate need. I like Patrick Queen 12-1.
Dave Weaver, you hit the nail on the head. I also have Patrick Queen here to win this honor. Pass rushers historically do better winning this award. Not to mention, even though defense is volatile from year to year, it always seems to be good with the Ravens. He's my guy.
All right, guys, this bet is easy to find on the app. Go to awards section under the player prop tab. Place your bets on offensive or defensive rookie of the year. Patrick McQueen sounds like he is a big favorite right now. FanDuel Sportsbook app, you can place your bets right now. And we can't end the show without talking about the Super Bowl, right? Make this bet before the season and you're maximizing the odds you're getting. That means more money when you win. Guys, this bet is under the championship tab on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's there right now. You can check out the value you're getting on all the teams listed right there on your screen, even if you're taking one of the favorites, guys, the Chiefs, Ravens, or Niners. So let's make some money here for our viewers. Pony, give us your pick.
Yeah, I'm going off the board. I like Arizona to win the Super Bowl. Second-year quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson. Second-year starters, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes last year. He's going to make a huge jump. Kyler Murray, and with that, Arizona's going to shock the world and win it all.
He's throwing to a new receiver. I want a team that has everybody coming back. No preseason. The Chiefs have everybody back. Patrick Mahomes has all his receivers and Travis Kelce and that new Rookie of the Year running back in my prediction. I think the Chiefs are unstoppable once again, even though they're only plus 650. Give me the Chiefs.
Sometimes the more obvious one is the easiest one to go with, and I am going with the New Orleans Saints. Drew Brees, second in EPA plus completion percentage over expected. He was also first in overall success rate. And even if you believe that Drew Brees is over the hill, they do quarterback by committee in New Orleans, and it has worked well over the last couple of seasons. Also on defense, they were 10th best in success rate. That will not be a problem. The Saints hoist the Lombardi Trophy.
Or you could go with a couple favorites there. A long shot there, defensive rookie of the year. Two of our guys mentioning Patrick Queen, of course. He plays for the Ravens being one of the favorites there to win it all. Now, I went to mention the value for odds on these Super Bowl bets. So here's what it means really in dollars and cents. A $50 bet on Ponies Cardinals would win you $2,500. If you take the favorite, the Chiefs, a $50 bet wins you $325. And your Super Bowl bets can get even better. You'll actually win even more money if you take advantage of the Road to 55 promotion. If you make a wager of $50 or more on any team to win the Super Bowl, you'll get a $5 bonus for each win that team gets, meaning you could earn up to $50 in site credit if you take advantage of this special offer right now. This Road to 55 offer is good through September 10th, opening kickoff, so make sure you place your bet on the FanDuel Sportsbook app today. All right, that'll do it for us. Thanks for hanging and watching FanDuel Sportsbook's More Ways to Win. We love having you with us. We'll be right back here next week, and good luck with your bets.
Fund your account with TVG BetCash, a credit or debit card, PayPal, a TVG prepaid card, Green Dot Money Pack, or Pay Near Me. Fund your account now. TVG.com.
Real players, real stories.
First, I saw the commercial, then my friend recommended Betfair, and I signed up that day.
On Betfair Casino, you can play your favorite casino games anywhere in New Jersey, including blackjack, roulette, slots, and more.
It's just so much fun.
When I play online, I prefer Betfair.
No long drives to the casino. No hassle.
If you're still driving to the casinos, save the gas and tolls. Put that money in your pocket.
Joining is easy. Go to BetfairCasino.com or download the app and sign up today.
I saw the commercial on TV, downloaded the app, and within minutes I was playing.
And now, when you join, you can play your first day risk-free up to $200.
You sign up, you play your first day risk-free. How great is that?
I've played those other online casinos, but for me, Betfair is the best.
I wish I signed up earlier. It's just so much fun.
Join the fun today at Betfair Casino.
TVG Friday. Don't miss the Grade 2 $600,000 Charlestown Classic from Hollywood Casino at Charlestown. Older horses at the classic distance, the Charlestown Classic. Friday, Charlestown, first post, 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific.
What up, Eagles and Steelers fans? Welcome inside the FanDuel Sportsbook here at the Meadowlands. You're watching More Ways to Win. I'm your host, Lisa Kearney, along with our team of sports betting experts. These guys are here to help you make some money. So download the FanDuel Sportsbook app now. You're ready to take their advice and place your bets right away. It's easy, it's legal, it's so much fun. So let's get this party started. Those guys are ready. I'm ready. you're ready. And we're kicking off this show with the Eagles, guys, opening their season with a division matchup in Washington. Philly's a 6.5-point favorite in this one. Dave Weaver, do they cover?
They do. I mean, what an easy start to their schedule to play Washington. The last 3 times they've gone to Washington, they've won by an average of almost 16 points, covering all 3 of those. They're 5-1 against the spread, last 6 against Washington, and I think they're going to get the job done here. This line, to me, being less than a touchdown is a gift.
Dave, this is unbelievable. We agree for once on something. I'm right there with you. I mean, the Eagles are getting a full complement of wide receivers healthy, which is something they didn't have over the last 7 weeks of 2019. Miles Sanders, year 2, as Philadelphia's running back. I think he is a big-time breakout candidate in that Doug Peterson offense. They run away and hide from Washington in week 1.
All right, guys, let's stick with the same game here. Talk another popular bet at the FanDuel Sportsbook right now, the total. So will these teams combine to score more than 44.5 points? Andrew Filipponi, which way are you going?
I'm going to take the over here, Lisa, and I think with Doug Peterson, that Andy Reid style offense with Wentz now, he has established himself. They've paid him like a franchise quarterback, but there's a lot of pressure on him to perform because of the injuries. And I think it's a statement game for him, just like Miami-Baltimore was for Lamar Jackson in week 1 last year, Dave. I think they try to run up the score here against Washington.
I just don't think the Washington football team has any offense. They've got a totally revamped coaching staff. Scott Turner, a first-time offensive coordinator, really doesn't have much of an offense to work with. I see this more of like a 24-10 type of final with Philadelphia winning.
All right, Philly fans, here's how you cash in. Put down $50 on the Eagles, giving 6.5. If they cover, you collect more than $95. If you like the total bet, the guys were just talking about, a winning $50 bet on the over pays out more than $93. And here's how to find all these bets right now, all the Week 1 lines on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's easy. Click on football, then 2020 season. You're going to see every single matchup to kick off the NFL season. All right, Eagles fans, in addition to placing bets on individual games, you can also make fun futures bets, including if a team will make the playoffs. These are simple yes or no bets, easy for anyone to make, and a ton of fun because they're so easy. So let's get the right take now with our NFL analyst, Cole Wright, formerly with the NFL Network and now the new face of Marquee Sports Network. Cole, let's talk playoffs for the Eagles here. They're minus 188 to make the postseason. What do the Eagles have to do to make the playoffs and pay off that bet?
Well, Lisa, I'm doing my best to make sure that they don't throw batteries at me in the streets of the city of brotherly love. But I think that what they need to do is keep Carson Wentz upright and healthy. And when it comes to this team making the postseason, I think they have plenty of ability, and I think they're going to compete for an NFC East title. Now, whether they make it as division champs or a wild card team, that's really going to depend on Carson Wentz. Keeping him upright and healthy, like I said, that's going to be paramount. Now, 8 snaps in just 1 playoff game in his career, that's it. That's all he has. But like Pony said, D-Jax is back. Alshon Jeffrey is back from injury. Those guys are going to help out big time. Last year, the offense, it was middle of the road. And this year, it's going to be a prove-it year for Carson Wentz. There's no doubt about it. He's looking to prove all the naysayers wrong, myself included. I've never been a huge believer in Carson Wentz, but I don't think he's losing any sleep because Cole Wright doesn't think he's the best quarterback in all the National Football League. So I think Philly is a playoff team. And what do they need to do? They need to lean on that run game of Miles Sanders, and they need to keep Carson Wentz healthy.
All right, great take, Cole. Thank you. And Eagles fans, bet on your team to make the playoffs. You'll collect more than $76 on a winning $50 bet. It's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's available right now. Let's get over to Pittsburgh, guys, now and talk Steelers. Big Ben is back, says he's in the best shape of his career. He'll lead the black and gold into New York to face the Giants right here at the Meadowlands in week 1. Pittsburgh is giving 3.5 points on the road, Dave. Who do you like here?
That's too many points for me. You know, Big Ben, he got hurt in week number 2. He did play in week number 1 last year when the Steelers lost the Patriots badly, and Ben threw 20 incompletions, and he just has a knack for not being sharp in week number 1. And it's basically a whole year that he missed. I see a lot of rust here for Roethlisberger. Give me the Giants.
Well, if there's rust on Roethlisberger, what is there on Daniel Jones, Dave? I mean, what is this guy? He led the league in fumbles last year. He didn't start and play. in 16 games. It's a test for a new offensive coordinator and a young quarterback against the most talented defense in the entire NFL. They've got 7 first-round picks who start on the defensive side of the ball in Pittsburgh. So 3.5 points, too many. That seems too small to me. I think the Steelers cover easily.
All right, guys, great stuff. Let's move on to the total bet now for this matchup. The line at the FanDuel Sportsbook, 47.5 right now, Pony. Over or under that number?
Well, I think the Steelers are going to score a lot of points because the Giants is still a green defensive situation. We don't know what Joe Judge, if he's going to be able to put his little Belichick magic dust on that defense yet. And I disagree with Dave. Okay, so Roethlisberger throws 1 interception. Big deal. He could throw 4 touchdown passes in this game, too. So I think the Pittsburgh offense will lead the way.
I think it's going to be a back-and-forth game. I actually like the Giants' offense this year. I think Daniel Jones is going to be a good quarterback, and he's got a great running back to hand the ball off to, and he's got some pretty talented receivers, both young and old. Don't be surprised if the Giants keep up offensively with the Steelers in this one in a high-scoring affair.
Well, let's look at the payout for both of these for Steelers fans. If you place a bet on Pittsburgh and they cover the 3.5 points, you'll collect more than $93. If you think the game's going to go over the 47.5 point total, Pony says the Steelers are going to crush it on offense. A $50 bet would pay nearly $98. It's a FanDuel Sportsbook app. And let's bring in the guy that you're going to take all that money from. The odds maker himself, John Sheeran, sets the lines here at the FanDuel Sportsbook. John, we're talking Eagles and Steelers here. Any early betting trends you've seen that have you kind of rethinking a specific line for these teams?
Yeah, I think Weaver's had a bang on the head, Lisa, thinking that the Giants are going to be able to keep up against the Steelers. That steel curtain is going to shut down the New York Giants pretty quickly. I may have also had a bang on the head as well, because this line is still 3.5, Lisa. I really can't understand how he landed at 3.5. This can only move towards the Pittsburgh Steelers. The early ratio of money is starting to come. It's now 10-1 in favor of the Steelers as well. My advice is anybody looking at this game is get in strong and get in early, because this line will not last until kickoff. For the Eagles, I think it's a little bit different. I know the guys are both strong on the Eagles, Lisa. I know that Washington have limited, but what I do expect is them to be organized under Ron Rivera, play very hard for him, given his recent health concerns as well. I like this line, actually. We did open it up as low as 4.5, out to 6.5 now, anywhere around that number, and we'll be really comfortable laying the Eagles. I think the Washington football team, as they're now called, can keep up with the Eagles and slow them down. They had trouble with them early on last year as well. The Eagles did, when the Redskins at that time led by 2 touchdowns as well. So a bit of work on there for Philly in my view, Lisa.
All right, get in strong and get in early. Great insight, Sharon. Thanks. We'll see you in a bit. Let's put some math to our money now and get the analytics answer from our numbers guy, Ed Egros, here joining us from Dallas. Ed, you combed the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You found a couple lines that you really like. Where do the numbers take us today, Ed?
Lisa, let's start with the Rams getting 2.5 against the Cowboys on Sunday night. You could argue Los Angeles is the ultimate bells and whistles offense. Jared Goff does not have good quarterback stats. Last year, his EPA plus completion percentage over expected was 20th among all qualifiers at .089. But those bells and whistles involve play action. Nobody had more play action pass attempts than Goff in 2019, 194 to be exact. Cowboys coaching staff, no doubt noticed this league-wide trend concerning play action, and they got Dak Prescott to do it and do it well. He came in with the 6th most attempts at 138 and the 3rd most play action passing yards at 1,239. The team at home that uses more play action, I like them at 2.5. The Rams should cover.
I'm going to tell you on this one, Ed, if you go by last year, the Rams' 9-7 record doesn't say much. Maybe it doesn't impress you much, but they played the toughest schedule in the entire NFL, and I think the wrong team is favored in this game.
And Tony, another bet that I like that has good value is the under 48.5 between the Browns and the Ravens. Part of it is I'm just playing a lot of unders throughout this week one because of offseason upheaval, the pandemic, all those things. But I also think the Ravens' ball control will have a lot to do with this, causing fewer possessions. Last year, nobody averaged more yards per drive than Baltimore at 41.77. They did it largely by running the football. 54.07% of the time, more than anyone else in the National Football League. Assuming the Ravens have success again doing that, the Browns will have to play catch-up, meaning that Baker Mayfield will have to throw the ball more, and that could be a problem. He had the second highest interception rate at 3.9% to go with a not-so-hot 62.8 expected completion percentage. I know interceptions are a little bit volatile, but Baker Mayfield needs to show me something. He hasn't so far. I'm taking the under total here.
I'm going to fade you because he did show something to Baltimore last year when he went in to Baltimore and shredded them. Nick Chubb went for almost 200 yards. They had an absolutely offensive explosion against the Ravens last year, and I think the Browns can do that again here. Give me the over.
Yeah, Dave, you also picked the Browns to win the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. Just throwing that back out there. Guys, if you like defending MVP Lamar Jackson and the Ravens to cover the 8.5-point spread, a winning $50 bet gets you about $98. Remember, all the Week 1 lines are posted right now on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Just click on football and then 2020 season. You'll see all the lines right there. Now it's time to get a little wild in our show with our More Ways Wildest Wagers of the Week. Guys, the segment's pretty self-explanatory. Dave, I'm coming to you first. Go nuts. What's your wildest wager of the week?
Well, you can bet on which running back is going to have the most yards. Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, guys like that are going to be favored. But I'm going to go to a 22-1 long shot. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the rookie for the Kansas City Chiefs, he's going to get so many opportunities this year. Shady McCoy's gone. Damian Williams has opted out. He's going to start, and he's got a huge offense in front of him, which means they're going to have leads, and they're going to need to run the ball late. I think at 22-1, he's a sneaky play.
Well, this one's going to knock you back a peg here, Dave. I like DJ Chark from Jacksonville to lead the NFL in receiving yards. He's 90-1. He went for 1,000 yards last year, Lisa. He only played in 15 games, and he did it with quarterback yo-yo, going back and forth between Gardner Minshew and Nick Foles. We know Minshew's the starter there. We know his favorite target is Chark. They're going to throw the ball a ton. I actually think he's got a shot at leading the league in receiving yards.
All right, guys, great stuff. Those are pretty wild bets. If you want to get nuts with our guys on some of those long shots, you can check out those bets and more on the FanDuel Sportsbook app today. All right, let's move on here on the show and let's talk postseason. The Steelers haven't seen a playoff game since 2017. Let's get our NFL analyst, Cole Wright, to weigh in on if this is the year they're back. The FanDuel odds for the season are on the screen. Cole, do the Steelers make the postseason this year? What do you think?
Lisa, this is the year because I'm all in on the Steelers making the postseason. Last year, 8-8, a departure from what we're used to seeing. Like you said, they haven't made that second season since 2017. They didn't have Big Ben last year. It was a quarterback carousel, and that was really the root of their problems. Big Ben, he's back. He's slim. He's trim. So the offense is going to be instantly improved. Now, Juju Smith-Schuster, he's poised to take that next step. And when you pair that with their defense, they were top 5 overall last year, number 1 in sacks, number 1 in turnovers. So come on. I mean, looking at this Pittsburgh squad, they have a bad taste in their mouth from not making the postseason a year ago. But in the end, Mike Tomlin, he's never had a losing record. So Pittsburgh Steelers fans, get ready to party like it's 2017. I do indeed see this black and yellow team making the postseason.
All right, making friends in the Steel City, Cole. I see you. Steelers fans, if you want to tail Cole and bet on your team to make the playoffs, you can collect more than $87 on a winning $50 bet. Y'all, we are just 2 weeks away from kicking off the NFL season. There are dozens of Eagles and Steelers bets available on the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. So let's take a closer look at which one of those lines gives bettors the best value here. I'm going to bring in our betting experts, give us their best Eagles or Steelers wagers on the board. Dave, can you get us started here?
Yeah, when I go to the FanDuel Sportsbook, I always find a new bet every single day. Did you know you can bet on Comeback Player of the Year? How about Deshaun Jackson? He loves playing in Philadelphia. It's been a while. Back in 2013, 1,300 yards receiving. Can he make it through the year? That's the key. But if he plays every game, Carson Wentz is going to hit him on some deep routes. He's going to have a huge year, and he's 50-1 to win Comeback Player of the Year.
Yeah, I'm going to keep the Steelers' optimism going here, and really I'm going to take them to win the AFC North, guys, because it's an anti-Ravens bet for me. I think they're overhyped, You know, they lose Marshall Yanda, one of the greatest guards of all time. They don't really replace him. They put a journeyman there. Now they got this Earl Thomas thing hanging over their heads. They were the healthiest team. They had the best injury luck in the entire NFL last year. That isn't happening again. The Steelers win the division.
How's about an Eagles player prop for you guys? Carson Wentz over 3,899.5 passing yards. Last year, Wentz had the second most play action passes with 171 and the eighth most play action passing yards at more than 1,000. And that's with almost no full-time wide receivers. Absolutely banged up at that position. Now they look to be a little bit healthier, and they add Jalen Reagor. And I know Dr. Chow can speak on this better than me, but it doesn't seem like the injury history for Wentz is going to be a big problem. His back is getting stronger, and as long as that time to throw stays low, it won't jeopardize his health. I think he plays all 16 games, and Wentz has a year to remember.
And we will hear from Dr. Chow in just a moment. Thanks, guys. Don't have a FanDuel Sportsbook account yet? What are you waiting for? If you sign up now, FanDuel is sweetening the pot. New users get a risk-free bet up to $500. Yep, just download the app, sign up for an account. If your first bet doesn't hit, it's all good. We've got your back. FanDuel will refund you up to $500 in site credit. So let's get this party started, guys. I need you all back in here. Dave, Pony, Ed, you have $500 to place on a risk-free bet. Let's make our viewers some money here. Give me a team total that you're hammering that will lead to a big payout. Dave, what you got?
I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears not to have a very good year. Their team total is 8. I have them like a 4-12 team this year. Back in 2018, they led the league in rush defense with 77 yards a game. Last year, it was 102. So now you can run the ball on the Bears. Their offense doesn't scare me. They are not a 500 team. $500 gets me $884.
Yeah, I'm going to go with, this is a big one, 500 risk-free bet to win, 1175 on Dallas to miss the playoffs. These retread coaches, okay? You've got Mike McCarthy now coming over from Green Bay. Mike Nolan is the defensive coordinator. What was Dallas thinking? This guy has been bad in like 5 or 6 different stops. They lost their number one corner, Byron Jones. I think Dallas, and we've seen this before, maybe a hot start, then they teeter off. They're a 7-9 team, in my opinion.
My friends in Pittsburgh, if it starts to smell a little bit bad outside, it's because of Pony's putrid take. I'm going with the over Cowboys 9.5 wins. Last year, this team had an expected record of 11-5 based upon points scored and points allowed. They finished 8-8, which tells me they were an unlucky team, and typically unlucky teams become lucky the very next year. You're adding CeeDee Lamb, a great slot receiver. You're adding Mike McCarthy, a great head coach. I think the Cowboys are an 11-12 win team. My $500 risk-free bet gets me $812.50.
Dueling bets and great points on both sides. Good stuff, guys. Hey, they're both risk-free. Sign up for our new FanDuel Sportsbook account to get your risk-free $500 bet. It's easy. It's legal. It's live right now. Take your winnings if you hit. Get your money back if you don't. It's that easy. Hot takes still steaming, guys. Good stuff. John Sheeran, they are placing those bets risk-free. We want to keep the heat turned up as I bring you back in here. So give us the one hot bet that you're seeing at the sportsbook right now. Give us the one line where everybody is placing their bet.
Lisa, it's very simply all trust in Tom Brady. TB12, it's all about the Buccaneers to win the Super Bowl. I can't keep the bettors off them. We're into, I think, 15-1 right now. They were as big as 39-1 at one point after last season. Liability is already 4 times the number of any other team, including the New York Giants, where we know we get a lot of local money at 85-1. A strong start for the Buccaneers will give me a lot of sleepless nights, Lisa. I'm going to be cheering against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers all season long.
Thanks for the candid take. Appreciate the insight, Sheeran. One of the big headlines this week from the NFL was 77 false positive COVID-19 tests from a laboratory in New Jersey. The league says that was due to a contaminated sample, but it raises the question if this could happen during the actual season and what it would mean for players and teams. Pro Football Doc David Chow gives us his take on this latest news.
Anytime you have 77 positive tests, that's concerning. But the only good news is they were all false positive tests, meaning none of the players have it. So the NFL still has a clean streak across about 10, 12 days now of no players testing positive at all. They will have to adjust and deal with the false positive issue. Perhaps they will test more on Friday night and have backup testing on Saturday, point of care testing Sunday morning with immediate results, because no player, no team wants anyone ruled out when they don't even have COVID. And this actually gives the NFL a chance to respond to it. Overall, the NFL has been very responsive in letting people know about COVID so far, just like they do with injuries. It's never lower body injury, it's knee questionable. And I think the NFL will do the same thing with temperature reports, COVID tests, to let everyone have a fair playing field when they make their wagering decisions.
All right, Doc, thank you. Now let's talk daily fantasy, and how about how you can turn $4 into $1 million. That's right, $1 million. All you have to do is play fantasy with us. Enter the FanDuel Sunday Million contest on FanDuel.com. Winner gets $1 million. The entry fee is just $4. There are different strategies, of course, that you can use. One of them is stacking quarterbacks and receivers from the same team. FanDuel editor-in-chief JJ Zachariason gives us his top 3 stacks for Week 1.
Low-cost stack that I like a lot in Week 1 is Teddy Bridgewater to DJ Moore. Teddy's getting a lot of love out of Carolina. He fits in this scheme. That's all great news. They're also facing a Vegas secondary that should be beatable in a game with a 46.5-point over-under. And DJ Moore makes the most sense as the stack with Teddy Bridgewater, given the fact that he's coming off that sophomore year where he had a 22% target share in 15 games. He should be the top target, maybe aside from Christian McCaffrey, in that offense. So I like the two of them as a low-cost option in Week 1. I also like Jimmy Garoppolo throwing the rock to George Kittle. You know, they're facing an Arizona secondary and defense in Week 1 that gave up the most schedule-adjusted fantasy points to the tight end position last year, and there's a lot of banged-up wide receivers in that San Francisco offense, so George Kittle should see a lot of targets. But then on top of that, in the 2 games against Arizona last year, the 49ers and Cardinals averaged over 57 total points per game, and they were the 2 best fantasy outings for Jimmy Garoppolo. So I love Jimmy Garoppolo to George Kittle in Week 1. And then the last stack that you can go to, Russell Wilson to DK Metcalf. It's a fairly obvious one. They're facing Atlanta. It's an inexperienced secondary. But then on top of that, it has a 49.5-point over-under. There should be a lot of scoring. Russell Wilson is rightfully one of the most expensive quarterbacks on the main slate, but DK Metcalf is a really nice value at $6,400. So I really like that stack of Russell Wilson to DK Metcalf.
Great job, JJ. I love it. Make sure to use JJ's info for a shot at winning $1 million in the Sunday Million contest right now on FanDuel.com. It's just $4 to enter, and there's a prize pool of over $3 million when you play fantasy with us. And FanDuel is also offering season-long fantasy in a new and unique way. It's called Best Ball, and guys, it's free. All you have to do is draft your team. After that, FanDuel does all the work. FanDuel will calculate your top scoring players for the week, and boom, that becomes your starting lineup. Play with up to 11 friends or against other users. It's a snake draft format, and it's so much fun. It's easy. All you have to do is download the FanDuel app or sign up at FanDuel.com and try out Best Ball right now for free. All right, guys, last week you all gave us your pick for Offensive Rookie of the Year. This week we are looking for the other side of the ball. So let's talk who will win Defensive Rookie of the Year. We got Washington defensive end Chase Young, the favorite there. Gonna whip around the horn here. Pony, who do you like to win Defensive Rookie of the Year?
Second option, I like Isaiah Simmons in Arizona. Reports from the desert say that they are building their defense around this guy, which I love to see it. If you're trying to find a rookie with this weird offseason, the idea that it's centered around him makes me feel like he's got a shot to win Defensive Rookie of the Year.
I'm going to go to a guy that joins an already great defense, and that is Patrick Queen from LSU for the Baltimore Ravens. Here's a guy that can defend from sideline to sideline. He's currently 12-1 to win Defensive Rookie of the Year, and he fills a void. I mean, they were literally signing guys off the street at linebacker position towards the end of the year, so he's going to fit right in.
I am tailing you, Dave Weaver. I also love Patrick Queen in this situation. Keep in mind, and normally I don't care too much about combine scores, but His athletic scores concerning speed and explosiveness were off the charts. He's already practicing with the first-team linebackers. Maybe didn't get just a ton of time at LSU, but boy, he's going to get some time in the NFL. Pass rushers historically win this award a little bit more than secondary guys. Patrick Queen at plus 1,200 is a nice payout.
Patrick Queen plus 1,200, 2 votes for the LSU alum, and that bet is easy to find on the app. Go to awards section under the player prop tab, place your bets on offensive or defensive rookie of the year. FanDuel Sportsbook app is waiting for you right now. And of course, we can't end the show without talking about the Super Bowl. Make this bet before the season and you are maximizing the odds you're getting. That means more money when you win. Guys, this bet is under the championship tab on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's there right now. Check out the value you're getting on all the teams listed. Even if you're taking one of the favorites, you got the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Niners sitting right there. So let's make some money for our viewers. And Pony, give us your pick.
Well, the analytics people like Ed say quarterbacks from year 1 to year 2, that's when you see the biggest jump. And so I like the Cardinals. Not only do we have Kyler Murray on his own primed to make a big step, but he gets DeAndre Hopkins, probably the best wide receiver in the NFL, to go with him. I think Arizona's a big sleeper.
They haven't had a whole lot of time to work with each other, and there are a lot of teams in the NFL that either have a new quarterback or some new receivers coming in. That's not the case for the Kansas City Chiefs. They are fluid. They have everybody coming back. Mahomes, so many weapons to deal with. I think the Chiefs are going to win right back. I'll take them, despite the low odds of plus 650.
I think the Chiefs could very well make the Super Bowl, but they'll probably lose to my New Orleans Saints. They should win the division again. You clinch it enough times, and then eventually you progress all the way to the end. Last season, Drew Brees was second in EPA plus completion percentage over expected and first in overall offensive success rate. And even if you believe that Drew Brees is over the hill, they just got Jameis Winston. And Winston is a good quarterback. If they do the quarterback by committee thing, they will be just fine. And then defensively, they have the 10th best success rate a season ago. They will be just fine there. You know Sean Payton can coach an offense up. I have New Orleans hoisting the Lombardi Trophy.
Great arguments, guys. I mentioned the value for odds on these Super Bowl bets. So here's what it really means in dollars and cents. $50 bet on Ponies Cardinals would win you $2,500. If you take the favorite there, the Chiefs, a $50 bet still pockets you $325. These odds aren't going to be this good once this regular season gets rolling. So take advantage now right there on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. And by the way, your Super Bowl bets can get even better. You'll actually win even more money if you take advantage of this special promotion right now. It's only until September 10th, so make sure you take advantage of this promo and join us again next week right here on More Ways.
Fund your account with TVG BetCash, a credit or debit card, PayPal, a TVG prepaid card, Green Dot Money Pack, or Pay Near Me. Fund your account now. TVG.com. TVG Sunday night. Satisfy your need for speed with the Grade 1 Go Man Go handicap. Full throttle quarter horse action from Los Alamitos. Watch and wager Sunday night. Los Alamitos. First post 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific.
Watch me as one for Francis Henri Graffard and Pierre-Charles Boudot.
TVG Saturday. 3-year-old fillies at a mile on the grass in the Grade 3 Ontario Colleen Stakes from Woodbine. Action on the turf from Canada's premier racecourse. Play Saturday. Woodbine. First post 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific.
and Colts fans, welcome inside the FanDuel Sportsbook here at the Meadowlands. You're watching More Ways to Win. I'm your host, Lisa Kearney, along with our panel of sports betting experts. These guys are here to help you make some money. It's their job. It's what they do. So download the FanDuel Sportsbook app now, and you're ready to take their advice and place your bets right away. It's easy. It's legal. It's fun. I'm all for it. So let's get this party started. They're ready. I'm ready. You're ready. And we're kicking off the show with the Chicago Bears on the road at Detroit here, guys, for week 1. And Chicago still doesn't know who will be under center. Quarterback competition still playing out, and the Bears are getting 2.5 points right now. So, Dave Weaver, how are you playing this one?
I like the Lions. I don't like anything about the Bears all year long, especially in this week 1. They've lost 6 season openers now in a row. Flip side, Detroit 6-2-1. They tied last year. But I think Detroit comes out here and beats Chicago. They almost beat the Bears last year with David Blau and Bo Scarborough. And now they have Stafford back. DeAndre Swift's a nice draft pick to team up with Kerryon Johnson. Their receivers are talented. So, Pony, you're not going to talk me off of this one. I'm all in on Detroit.
Well, this is your 25 years of sports betting experience shining through brightly here, Dave. This is astute handicapping on your part. I'm right there with you. I think Detroit has the highest upside of any team in the NFC North because of the Matt Stafford addition, getting him back from injury. They were 4th in the league last year when he went down in scoring offense. He can put up points. The Bears offense cannot, and I think Detroit will have no problem with them in week 1.
Astute handicapping. It's the nicest thing Pony's ever said to Dave. All right, guys, let's stick with the same game here. Talk another popular bet at the FanDuel Sportsbook, the total. All right, so will these teams combine to score more than 43.5 points? Andrew Filipponi, coming right back to you. Which way are you going here on the total?
Well, it's going to go under because the Bears are in a state of disarray offensively. You can't build the whole offense with tight ends, which is something they need to remind Ryan Pace. All he does is draft and sign tight ends. He doesn't have a quarterback. He picked Mitch Trubisky over Patrick Mahomes, a fireable offense, in my opinion. And I think Bears fans will let him have it starting in week 1 when they might not score a touchdown in this game, Dave.
As much as I love the Lions, I don't really love a total in here. I mean, I could see it 43-20 or 3-0 Lions. So I'll go with you. I'll go with the under reluctantly.
All right, guys. Bears fans, here's how you cash in here. Put down $50 on Chicago plus 2.5. If they cover, you collect more than $93. Hey, if you like the total bet, what the guys were just talking about, a winning $50 bet on the under pays out more than $95. Here's how to find all these bets and more, all the week 1 lines on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's so easy. Click on Football, then 2020 season. You'll see every single matchup to kick off the NFL season. Bears fans, in addition to placing bets on the individual games, you can also make fun futures bets, including if a team will make the playoffs. These are simple yes or no bets, easy for anyone to make here. So let's get the right take now with our NFL analyst, Cole Wright, formerly with the NFL Network, now the new face of Marquee Sports Network. Cole joining us right from the heart of Chicago. Cole, let's talk playoff odds for these Bears. They're plus 146 to make the playoffs, minus 178 to miss the postseason. Cole, give me your take. Do the Bears make the postseason?
Well, Lisa, I like to stay positive in the face of adversity, but my Chicago-ness will not allow me to deceive our viewers out there. I really think that this Bears team, they're really just 1 year away from being 1 year away. And that quarterback matchup they have under center between Nick Foles and Mitchell Trubisky, well, that just masks a bigger issue, the fact that they have limited offensive weapons. Ted Ginn Jr. and Jimmy Graham, they're nice complementary pieces to an already sound offense. But like Pony was saying, how many tight ends does one team need on their roster? I mean, Ryan Pace, he seems to be in love with that position. The Bears last year, they were 29th overall in total offense. They were dead last in big plays and teams. They do have the ability to have a 180 turnaround, but I just really don't see this Bears team possessing that ability. So sorry, Bears fans. When you see me in the city and I'm stopping to get a slice of pizza, deep dish or thin crust cut tavern style, don't blame me for the Bears' inefficiencies. They're not making the playoffs.
If you're Giordano's, Lou Malnati's, I'm okay with either. Your endearing quality of Chicago-ness has Cole stressing patience here. Chicagoans, bet with your head, not your heart. Place $50 on Chicago missing the playoffs. You collect more than $78 on your bet. All right, guys, let's get to Indianapolis now and cover the new-look Colts. Phillip Rivers, now under center, will lead the Colts into Jacksonville to face the Jags in Week 1. The Colts are giving 7 here. It's the biggest road favorite of the week. Pony, can they cover that number?
No, I don't think so, Lisa. You hit it on the head. New look. I don't want to be new look in 2020 with the strange offseason. It's Phillip Rivers way out of his element in Indy. He loses all those Chargers weapons. You've got 2 rookies that might start from day one, Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman Jr. at wide receiver. Tough to get everybody in sync for Week 1. I like Jacksonville with a lot of points, Dave.
Yeah, and the Colts don't really have a good history going to Jacksonville. They're 0-5 against the spread their last 5 times that they went to Jacksonville. Overall, even in Indy, they're 1-8-1 their last 10. They don't match up that well against the Jags. Ultimately, I think the Colts are a playoff team, and Jacksonville's probably one of the worst teams in the league. But to give 7 points on the road, too much. Give me the Jags.
All right, guys, let's get to the total bet for this matchup now. The line at the FanDuel Sportsbook is 45.5. Dave, are you going over or under that number?
I am going to go under. I just think Phillip Rivers is going to need a week or two to really figure out this offense with the Colts. I don't think Jacksonville really threatens that much to score a ton of points either. So I think this is going to be a game that the Colts win but don't cover. Let's say 17-13 Colts final. Give me the under.
Well, I'm going to go over, Dave, because you've bet on these games. Rivers, they'll have 7 points in the first 3.5 quarters, and then he'll score 2 touchdowns late in that no-huddle offense screaming at his wide receivers. Not swearing, of course, because we know Rivers doesn't do that. But I like the over. Minshew, to me, is one of the great question marks this season. Quarterbacks from year 1 to year 2 make a big jump. He could be a sneaky sleeper this year at the helm of the Jags offense.
All right, let's put that bet into what y'all will actually be taking home here. Colts fans, if you place a $50 bet on Indy, they cover those 7 points. You're going to collect almost $98. The over bet for this game has the same odds as the Colts spread bet. So a winning $50 bet will get you the same $98 payout. It's the FanDuel Sportsbook app, and it's available right now. And what we're going to do is bring in the guy that you're going to take all of that money from, the odds maker himself. John Sheeran sets the lines here at the FanDuel Sportsbook. Sheeran, we're talking Bears and Colts here. Any early betting trends that you've seen that have you kind of rethinking a specific line for these teams?
The surprising thing in the Chicago Bears, 2.5-point dogs in Detroit, Lisa, as the guys touched on, for me, is just simply why Matt Nagy hasn't made a decision who's starting a quarterback. We all know Nick Foles is a better quarterback than Mitch Trubisky. A lot of that uncertainty, I think, is leading to a lot of the bettors in this game staying away. Probably one of the quietest games on the slate so far for Week 1. Pretty surprising. What I have seen is that it's been pretty even between Detroit and Chicago. But like the guys touched on, for all of those reasons, I think you have to favor Detroit if you do want to play with the uncertainty that's around. But let's make a decision, Matt Nagy, pretty quickly. It's a pretty obvious one. The Colts is only going one way, Lisa. I'm really surprised both of the guys went with Jacksonville. All of the money that I've seen has been one-way traffic for Indy. About 4 times to 1 the ratio in favor of the Colts. That line was as low as 4.5 all the way up to a touchdown now.
All right, great insight, Sharon. Thank you so much. We'll see you again in just a moment. Time now to put some math to our money now. Get the analytics answer from our numbers guy, Ed Egros. Ed, you combed the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You found a couple lines that you really like. Where do the numbers take us, Ed? Expose these lines for us.
Well, Lisa, speaking of numbers, the Packers have had the Vikings number these last few years, no matter how well or how poorly Minnesota has played. And I think that ends this year with Minnesota covering 3.5. Packers are due for serious regression. Last year, where they went 13-3, but their expected record based upon points scored and points allowed, it was 10-6. They won a lot of close games. They were lucky to get to 13 wins, but now they have to deal with that first place schedule. I think they regress. For the Vikes, Kirk Cousins finished 7th in EPA plus completion percentage over expected at .166. He also has an elite receiving core. They finished 5th in yards after catch per completion at 5.8. Even without Stephon Diggs, the receiving core is deep, more than capable of a blowout win here.
And I'm going to tell you, and I'm not going to give an analytical answer. It's more about this Rodgers-LaFleur Packers relationship. I don't know what to make of it right now. And I'm not going to bet on Green Bay early in the season because I want to see how that works itself out. And for that reason, I'm tailing and taking Minnesota.
Makes good sense to me, Pony. And there's another bet that I think has good value here. It's the under between Houston and Kansas City. Yes, I like both quarterbacks. I like both coaches. I just think the total is too high here. Texans trade DeAndre Hopkins, who is number 1 in weighted opportunity among all targets at 0.69. Second place is Will Fuller on the team. He has one of the higher injury probabilities in football per player profiler. For the Chiefs, Pat Mahomes, not as big of a deep threat quarterback as you might think. Last year, he finished 9th in completed air yards per completion at 6.5. His intended air yards came in 13th, in part because Travis Kelce is such a reliable check down. One possibility is a KC blowout, which means they're going to run the ball a lot. So that makes it tougher to get to that 54.5. I'm going with the under here.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you because this is the first game of the year on a Thursday. What happened last year in this game? 10-3. 2 years ago, that first Thursday game was 18-12. I think people expect these offenses to be in midseason form. That is not the case. 54.5. Too many points. Ed and I both going under.
All right, guys, good stuff. Great perspectives on both sides. Think Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs can cover the 9.5 points. A winning $50 bet pays out more than $93. And remember, all the Week 1 lines are posted on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Just click on football and then 2020 season. All right, time to turn up the heat on this show. Time to get nuts with our More Ways Wildest Wagers of the Week. Guys, the segment is very self-explanatory here. Dave, you first. Go nuts with your wildest wager of the week.
All right, so my bet is which running back is going to have the most rushing yards this year, and I'm going to go to the Chiefs rookie, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, their first-round draft pick. Look, he is going to have every opportunity to rush the ball as many times as Andy Reid lets him, and he likes to use rookies. Kareem Hunt won the rushing title as a rookie for the Chiefs a few years back. He's got a great offense out on the field. They're going to have a lot of big leads. They're going to need to run late. And he's a big price pony, 22-1.
Yeah, that's my thing, Dave. I like wagering a little bit of money to win a lot of money. That's one of my favorite things to do. That's why I like DJ Chark here to lead the NFL in receiving yards. He is at 90-1. He was a 1,000-yard receiver last year. He was top 10 in receiving touchdowns. You know Minshew's the quarterback, and Jay Gruden comes over as offensive coordinator, where he likes to throw it way more than he likes to run the football. So this, to me, is a dark horse, but one that has a shot to come in.
Guys, some pretty wild wagers right there, and I dig it. And if you guys want to get nuts with our guys on some long shots, you can check out those bets and more on the FanDuel Sportsbook app today. All right, let's check back in with Cole Wright, bringing in our NFL analyst. Just talking Colts playoff odds. Will the Colts get to the postseason? Indy has only made the playoffs once since the 2014 season. FanDuel odds for this one are on your screen. Cole, do the Colts make the postseason this year?
Now, Lisa, last year the Colts, they were the 30th ranked passing team. So what did they do? They went out and got a quarterback who is not really great at passing or making the postseason. Now, I know sometimes Phillip Rivers, his numbers, they suggest that he can throw the rock around the yard, but when 2 trips for the postseason in the last 10 seasons for Phillip Rivers, now that's a problem for a franchise that's really in search of an offensive identity. You see, they have T.Y. Hilton, they have Marlon Mack, those guys, they make plays, but the offense in Indy, it's far from scary. Now, I can't even say that this team is close to a postseason berth. Now, Indy's last 2 trips to the second season, 2014, 2018, and if February and March seemed like that was a long time ago, well, 2014 and 2018, they seem like their video should be maybe in black and white or definitely SD quality. It feels like an eternity. So I can't really go with the Colts making the postseason. And at the end of the day, I can't trust a quarterback with throwing motion like Phillip Rivers. So sorry there, Colts fans. No postseason for you. That playoff hiatus, it continues.
All right, giving us your football take. Got to talk with your eyes there. Thank you. Colts fans, if you want to back your team and think they are going to make the playoffs, then fade Cole and what he sees on film and collect more than $75 on a winning $50 bet. It's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Y'all, we are just 2 weeks away from kicking off the NFL season. There are dozens of Bears and Colts bets available on the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. So let's take a closer look at which one of those lines gives bettors the best value. And bring in our betting experts, give us their best Bears or Colts wagers on the board right now. Dave, you're going to get us started. What you got?
I'm actually going to say that the Colts are going to make the playoffs, and they're going to do it by winning the AFC South. They are plus 125 to win that division. You look at the other three teams. Jacksonville's not very good. Houston's got some severe problems on the offensive line and protecting Watson. And Tennessee has turned into be just too much of a one-dimensional team. If you can stop Derrick Henry, you're going to beat the Titans this year. This is the most well-rounded team, a great offensive line, a great defensive line. And even though Phillip Rivers does have a weird throwing motion, he's still got 60,000 yards in his career. I'm going to say that he's going to lead this team to the division title and to the playoffs.
Have I mentioned yet that I like long shots on this show? I'm going to take the Bears to finish with the worst record in the entire NFL at 35-1. And I'm going to do it because I think they've got the worst quarterback situation in the entire league. And their defense isn't what it was 2 years ago. Eddie Goldman, the great defensive lineman, opted out. It can't just all be Khalil Mack. And I think we're looking at a team that goes something like 2-14 or 3-13.
Pony likes long shots. I like really conservative bets, apparently. Don't forget that the NFL is adding a playoff team to the NFC and the AFC. That change means I think the Indianapolis Colts do make the playoffs. That offensive line did a great job with one of the lower pressure and sack rates in all of football last year, and that was with Jacoby Brissett, a quarterback. Now Phillip Rivers, he will likely be asked to throw short and quickly. I think he manages that offense just enough, and they get the 7th seed and make the playoffs.
Whatever you're feeling, whatever you're thinking, those bets are available right now. FanDuel Sportsbook app. Hey, don't have a FanDuel Sportsbook account yet? What are you waiting for? If you sign up now, FanDuel is sweetening the pot. New users get a risk-free bet up to $500. Just download the app, sign up for an account. If your first bet does not hit, it's all good. We've got your back. FanDuel will refund you up to $500 in site credit. So let's party, guys. Dave, Pony, and Ed, I need to get you back in here. You have $500 to place on a risk-free bet. So let's make our viewers some money here. Give me a team total that you're hammering that will lead to a big payout. Dave, you first.
Well, none of us are making friends in Chicago because everybody's against the Bears this year. That's my play, under 8. I mean, this is not 2018. This is 2020. Their rushing defense is not what it was when they led the league in rush defense with only 77 yards 2 years ago. They gave up 102 last year. You can run on the Bears, and their offense is not going to win them many games. So I think they're about a 4-12 team, maybe 5-11, not an 8-8 team, which is still a push. Give me the under on the Bears. 500 to get me 884.
I'll tell you what I'm hammering, Lisa, and that is the Cowboys under 9.5 wins, $500 risk-free to collect, $11.75, very juicy, appetizing odds. You know, everyone's all excited, want to throw a parade for Mike McCarthy. Had the Cowboys figured out who's going to block, because this offensive line, much ballyhooed, much heralded, they lost Travis Frederick, their center, and it all started and ended with him. 2 years ago, he was out. Their line went way down. He's out again. And I don't see the Cowboys replacing him, and that's one of the big reasons why I'm taking the under.
Pony, in this machismo competition we're having, I'm beating you in 2 ways. One, beard maintenance, and the second is this bet. I'm going with the over Cowboys win total. Last year, that expected win record, based on points scored and points allowed, they were an 11-5 team, but they finished 8-8, which tells me they were quite unlucky. And this was a top 5 offense under Dak Prescott and offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. I think they get even better with rookie receiver CeeDee Lamb and head coach Mike McCarthy. My $500 risk-free bet, $812.50.
It's getting personal up in here, and I'm so here for it, guys. Sign up for a new FanDuel Sportsbook account to get your risk-free $500 bet. It's easy, it's legal, it's live. We've got dueling bets here, and they're both risk-free. Take your winnings if you hit, get your money back if you don't. It's that easy. Hot takes still steaming, guys. Good stuff. John Sheeran, got to get you back in here. They're placing those bets risk-free. We want to keep the heat turned up. So give us the one hot bet that you're seeing at the FanDuel Sportsbook right now. Sheeran, the one line where everybody is placing their bet. What do you see?
Everybody's betting on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Lisa, to win the Super Bowl. Tom Brady, TB12, Rob Gronkowski, all those weapons. This can only end one way, right? 15-1, 4 times the liability of any other team in the Super Bowl. Lots of sleepless nights. The one word of caution, we don't like them at all. We want to be aggressive with that number. We want that liability to rise, and we're happy taking them on for the season.
All right, thank you for the candid take, Sharon. We'll see you again in just a minute. One of the big headlines this week from the NFL was 77 false positive COVID-19 tests from a laboratory in New Jersey. The league says that was due to a contaminated sample, but it certainly raises the question if this could happen during the actual season and what it would mean for players and teams. Pro Football Doc David Chow gives us his take on this latest news.
Anytime you have 77 positive tests, that's concerning. But the only good news is they were all false positive tests, meaning none of the players have it. So the NFL still has a clean streak across about 10, 12 days now of no players testing positive at all. They will have to adjust and deal with the false positive issue. Perhaps they will test more on Friday night and have backup testing on Saturday, point of care testing Sunday morning with immediate results, because no player, no team wants anyone ruled out when they don't even have COVID. And this actually gives the NFL a chance to respond to it. Overall, the NFL has been very responsive in letting people know about COVID so far, just like they do with injuries. It's never lower body injury, it's knee questionable. And I think the NFL will do the same thing with temperature reports, COVID tests, to let everyone have a fair playing field when they make their wagering decisions.
Thanks, Doc. Now let's talk about daily fantasy and how you can turn $4 into $1 million. That's right, $1 million. All you have to do is play fantasy with us. Enter the Sunday Million contest on FanDuel.com. Winner gets $1 million. The entry fee, truly just $4. There are different strategies, of course, that you can use, and one of them is stacking quarterbacks and receivers from the same team. FanDuel editor-in-chief J.J. Zachariason gives us his top 3 stacks for Week 1.
Low-cost stack that I like a lot in Week 1 is Teddy Bridgewater to DJ Moore. Teddy's getting a lot of love out of Carolina. He fits in this scheme. That's all great news. They're also facing a Vegas secondary that should be beatable in a game with a 46.5-point over-under. And DJ Moore makes the most sense as the stack with Teddy Bridgewater, given the fact that he's coming off that sophomore year where he had a 22% target share in 15 games. He should be the top target, maybe aside from Christian McCaffrey, in that offense. So I like the two of them as a low-cost option in Week 1. I also like Jimmy Garoppolo throwing the rock to George Kittle. You know, they're facing an Arizona secondary and defense in Week 1 that gave up the most schedule-adjusted fantasy points to the tight end position last year, and there's a lot of banged-up wide receivers in that San Francisco offense, so George Kittle should see a lot of targets. But then on top of that, in the 2 games against Arizona last year, the 49ers and Cardinals averaged over 57 total points per game, and they were the 2 best fantasy outings for Jimmy Garoppolo. So I love Jimmy Garoppolo to George Kittle in Week 1. And then the last stack that you can go to, Russell Wilson to DK Metcalf. It's a fairly obvious one. They're facing Atlanta. It's an inexperienced secondary. But then on top of that, it has a 49.5-point over-under. There should be a lot of scoring. Russell Wilson is rightfully one of the most expensive quarterbacks on the main slate, but DK Metcalf is a really nice value at $6,400. So I really like that stack of Russell Wilson to DK Metcalf.
Great strategy, JJ. Make sure to use JJ's info for a shot at winning $1 million in the Sunday Million contest right now on FanDuel.com. Just $4 to enter. There's a prize pool of over $3 million when you play fantasy with us. And FanDuel is also offering season-long fantasy in a new and unique way. It's called Best Ball, and guys, it's free. All you have to do is draft your team. After that, FanDuel does all the work. FanDuel will calculate your top scoring players for the week, and boom, that becomes your starting lineup. Play with up to 11 friends or against other users. It's a snake draft format. It's so much fun, and it's also so easy. All you have to do is download the FanDuel app or sign up at FanDuel.com and try out Best Ball for free. All right, guys, last week you all gave us your pick for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I promised our viewers we will take a look at the other side of the ball now. Who will win Defensive Rookie of the Year? Washington defensive end Chase Young, the favorite there on your screen. Let's get around the horn here. Pony, who do you like for Defensive Rookie of the Year?
I don't really see a Nick Bosa on this board, Lisa, someone that's just going to have like a 15 to 20 sack season and run away with it. That's why I'm taking Isaiah Simmons in Arizona. Versatility is so big for defensive coordinators, and this guy does everything. They'll use him in a variety of different spots, linebacker, defensive back, pass rusher, and that's why he's my pick.
I'm going to go with a guy that joins a very good defense with the Baltimore Ravens, and that is Patrick Queen, their first-round pick out of LSU, linebacker that can really defend from sideline to sideline, a tackling machine. He's extremely quick. He can get the quarterback. He can drop back. I mean, he can do everything. And best of all, Ed, he's 12-1.
Dave, you're absolutely right here. And if you look at college EPA defense, LSU had one of the better defenses in terms of an uptick. And who wound up winning defensive MVP in that national championship game? LSU linebacker Patrick Queen. He is on a massive uptick. This is stock that you want to buy. Not to mention his athletic score says he has great speed, great explosiveness. He's my guy at plus 1,200.
I guess the question is, will Patrick Queen and his Ravens be left standing for the Lombardi Trophy? You're going to find that bet that the guys were just talking about. Go to the awards section under the player prop tab and place your bets on offensive or defensive rookie of the year. It's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You'll also find the Super Bowl bets there. We can't end the show without talking about the Super Bowl, right? Make this bet before the season. You're maximizing the odds you're getting. That means just more money when you win. Guys, this bet is under the championship tab on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Check out the value you're getting on all of the teams listed right now, even if you're taking one of the favorites, the Chiefs. I mentioned Patrick Queen's Ravens, or even the Niners here. So let's make some money for our viewers. Pony, give us your pick here for the Super Bowl winner.
I'm going to go out on a limb and take the Arizona Cardinals, and this one is for the Colts fans in the audience. Deandre Hopkins from Houston to Arizona, the biggest addition any team made this offseason. Hopkins, incredible, much better than T.Y. Hilton, for example, and that's why I like Arizona to win it all.
I'm going to go right back to the team that won it last year, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs, especially with no preseason. I want a team that brings back the entire offensive squad. Patrick Mahomes, so many receivers to throw to. Chiefs win it again at plus 650.
You know, another offense that's bringing back just about everybody, the New Orleans Saints. That is my team here. Drew Brees, he is a Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. But even quarterback by committee, it tends to work under Sean Payton. And talk about the other guys. Michael Thomas owns the record for most catches in a season. He could be even better this year. Running back Alvin Kamara, 5th in broken tackles, and the Saints do a good job at preserving him. I have the Saints hoisting the Lombardi Trophy.
Great stuff, guys. I mentioned the value for odds on these Super Bowl bets. Here's what it means in dollars and cents. A $50 bet on Ponies Cardinals would give you $2,500. If you take the favorite, the Chiefs, a winning $50 bet gets you $325. These odds aren't going to be this good once the regular season gets rolling, so take advantage of this bet and all the other bets right now available on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. We'll see you next time.
Fund your account with TVG BetCash, a credit or debit card, PayPal, a TVG prepaid card, Green Dot Money Pack, or Pay Near Me. Fund your account now. TVG.com.
Night Racing's best bets, the Los Alamitos Pick Fours. They continue to have record pools and great payouts. The pools have been as high as $450,000, and both the early and late Pick Four pools are often over $200,000. And remember, Los Alamitos also features a traditional Pick Six. Night Racing's best bets. Find them at Los Alamitos Racecourse.
TVG account holders get free PPs. At TVG.com under the Handicapping tab, select free past performances. International racing is displayed on the right. Select the track and the day for a full card. For U.S. tracks, access TVG Full PPs, Basic PPs, Watch and Wager PPs, the Stats Race Lens Day Pass, and TVG Super 8 PPs. Select Handicapping Store and play today to get reimbursed the very next day. Free PPs at TVG.com.
Introducing the Equibase app and a great new feature, Smart Pick, which customizes a wager and bet amount just for you. Download it free of charge today.
Broncos fans, welcome inside the FanDuel Sportsbook here at the Meadowlands. You're watching More Ways to Win. I'm your host, Lisa Kearney. We are excited to have you with us. I'm joined along with our team of sports betting experts. These guys are here to make you some money. So download the FanDuel Sportsbook app now, and you are ready to take their advice and place your bets right away. It's easy, it's legal, it's fun, and I'm here for all of that. So let's get this party started, guys. They're ready, I'm ready, you're ready. And we're kicking off the show with the Broncos' first kickoff of the season, guys. Denver hosting the Titans on Monday Night Football. The Broncos are giving 1.5 points and one of the closest lines of the week. Dave Weaver, which way are you going on this one?
I like the Broncos a lot in this spot. Tennessee has really struggled coming to Denver. Last year, they showed up. Well, they didn't show up. They didn't score a point. They got skunked 16-0. Derrick Henry stuffed to just 28 yards, his worst performance of the year. I think that this young offense is going to have a really good year, and I believe that they're going to easily handle Tennessee here in the season opener. Give me the Broncos.
Yeah, I think Ryan Tannehill was a one-hit wonder last year, Dave, and that's why I'm with you. With Denver, I think the Cinderella coach turned back into a pumpkin, and it starts against this really good Orange Crush Broncos defense in week one. Tannehill's a .500 quarterback for his career, but Tennessee paid him like a franchise guy, and I think they're going to regret that move for sure.
All right, guys, let's stick with the same game here, talk another popular bet at FanDuel Sportsbook, the total. So let's get to the total here. These teams will they combine to score more than 47.5 points? Andrew Filipponi, coming right back to you. Which way are you going?
Yeah, I'm going to take the under in this game. I'm not as bullish on the Denver offense as Dave. The thing I want to see is Melvin Gordon, Phillip Lindsay. How do the Broncos handle that running back carry share? And I don't know if we're going to see that in week one manifest. I don't think they're going to figure it out in the first game of the season. And for that reason, I think a lower scoring game will happen.
I mean, I like the Broncos offense, but not enough to play the over in this game because their defense is great. They have the 6th best home defense in the league last year, giving up just over 17 points a game at home. So I think they're going to once again be able to shut down Tennessee. Give me the under.
Broncos fans, here's how you cash in. Put down $50 on the Broncos -1.5. If they cover, you collect more than $95. If you like the total bet with the guys we're just talking about and place $50 on the under, you'll get a payout of almost $98 on a winning bet. Here's how to find these bets in all the week one lines on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It is so easy, guys. Click on Football, then 2020 season. You'll see every single matchup to kick off the NFL season. Broncos fans, in addition to placing bets on individual games, you can also make really fun futures bets as well, including if a team will win. A team win total will go over or under, a total number of games. These are simple bets to make, a lot simpler than saying them, I promise you. It's an easy one for anyone to make. So let's get the right take now with our NFL analyst, Cole Wright. Cole, formerly with the NFL Network and now the new face of Marquee Sports Network. Cole, let's talk win total for the Broncos here. The FanDuel Sportsbook has the line at 7.5. So, Cole, when you look at Denver's schedule, how many W's do you see?
Well, Lisa, I see him going over 7.5, so that's good news right now if you're a fan of the Denver Broncos. I'd love to tell them to get ready for the playoffs, so I will. I'll tell you to get ready for the playoffs, but the postseason next year. You're just a year away. Kansas City, we know they're probably going to take the division. The Raiders, they may snag a wild card berth. They're going to use that new stadium as motivation. Now, I do like Pat Shurmur as the OC. That's going to allow him to start fresh, get his fingerprints on wide receiver Jerry Jeudy plus Drew Lock. We know he's still maturing. Melvin Gordon, he's going to have that bounce back year. And in the end, I just think that the AFC West, it's too much of a briar patch, too tough of a division right now for the Denver Broncos and this young squad. So I see them finishing third, and they're going over 7.5 W's, Lisa. I have them sliding in at 9-7. And I'm going to tell you a little bit later in the show where they're going to get that first loss.
Well, definitely looking forward to that, Cole. Thank you. And Broncos fans, you can cheer on your team and your wager here. Tail Cole and bet $50 on over 7.5 wins for your team. You'll collect more than $95. It's the FanDuel Sportsbook app, and it's available right now. All right, let's bring in the guy that you're taking all of that money from, the odds maker himself. John Sheeran sets the lines here at the FanDuel Sportsbook. And, John, we're talking about a lot of different bets here. We're talking about the ones you can make, any early betting trends that you've been seeing in regards to these Broncos that have you thinking a specific line for Denver that might not be settling well with you?
Yeah, I'm really interested in the first game of the season, Lisa. I know the guys are really positive on the Broncos. I'm not sure I entirely agree. I think the Titans are actually a better football team than the Denver Broncos. We've seen a lot of local support, but I think when you look at last year's game, I think people are looking at it in isolation. Ryan Tannehill actually had really good numbers in that game. He was 13 for 16 after Marcus Mariota went 7 for 18 initially. Broncos did only manage to score one touchdown that day, and I'm not sure that'll be enough. I expect a lot more from the Tennessee Titans offensively this time. I think Ryan Tannehill, yes, is probably an average quarterback at best, but for me, that'll be enough. The early move has been in for the Tennessee Titans. We did open it at 2.5. The Broncos favored by 2.5. That's down to 1.5 now, Lisa. My suggestion, my recommendation is if you look to bet the Broncos in this game, wait until closer to kickoff. You may well get pick 'em or even some plus money on the money line on the Broncos as a home dog.
This is certainly some great insight there from Sharon. We'll see him again in just a moment. Broncos fans, FanDuel is giving you bang for your buck with some special bets as well. Increased odds are available right now on the FanDuel Sportsbook app in a section called Odds Boost. That simply means you win more money just for making that bet. Weaver, you've been betting on sports for more than 25 years. Give us the odds boost and why you think it could hit.
Yeah, the odds boost right now is for the Denver Broncos to make the playoffs. The odds previously plus 180 right now with the odds boost plus 210. Look, they were very good late in the year at home. They won their last 4 games at home. If they could run the table, I could see them winning all 8 games at home, win a couple of games on the road, and you have a wild card team. I don't think they're going to win the division because the Chiefs are just better than the Broncos, but I think they can get in a wild card, and if they do, the odds on that plus 210.
Great stuff, Dave. As always, thank you. Hit up the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Take advantage of this odds boost available. Hit a winning $50 bet on the Broncos odds boost. You collect $155. I'll take that return any day. All right, guys, let's stay in the division and get to another AFC West team here. The defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, host the Houston Texans in the official Thursday night kickoff of the NFL season. It's coming at us September 10th, just 2 weeks away. Kansas City, 9.5-point favorite. It's the biggest spread of the week. Dave, who you got?
I have Houston. I mean, 9.5 points. Kansas City typically is not very good when they're laying a ton of points. I did some research. I dug up the last 14 times that they've been favored by 8.5 points or more, and they've covered only 4 of those. They're 4-9-1 against the spread when favored by 8.5 or more. So they don't always deliver when they're supposed to win huge. They lost to the Texans last year in the regular season, and they beat them in the playoffs, but they were down 24-0 early. So I think Houston matched up well against Kansas City. I'm taking the 9.5 points.
Dave, I guess your 25 years of betting experience, wisdom has come with that. I think you made your first bet when I was in Pampers, but that's probably neither here nor there. I like Houston, too. I think they're the most trashed team in the NFL. They made a bad trade with Hopkins, but they've gone to the playoffs 5 of the last 6 years. And look, the difference between the playoff game last year and this matchup in 2020 is J.J. Watt's healthy. And he was huffing and puffing. He was barely in shape for that playoff game. He's a guy that's won the Defensive Player of the Year award 4 times. So I think Houston covers.
All right, guys, let's get to the total bet for this matchup at Arrowhead. The line at the FanDuel Sportsbook is 54.5. It's the highest total of the week. I love talking this one. Dave, over or under that number, 54.5?
I mean, that's a number that you would set if this was week 10 when these offenses are in rhythm. I mean, this is week number 1. Go back to last year when it was the Bears and the Packers that played in that opening Thursday game. Absolute snore fest, 10-3 final. And the year before, 18-12. I don't think the offense are going to be that explosive here. No preseason. It's going to take some time to get going. Give me the under.
Yeah, that Falcons-Eagles game 2 years ago, too, I think had a big over-under, Dave. I think the under is the smart play. I think too many people will look at the quarterback matchup in this game and think it's going to be a shootout, a game in the 30s or even 40s, and I just don't see that happening. I like the under.
All right, Broncos fans, what do you like? I get it. It may pain you to bet on the Chiefs giving the points, but if you place a winning $50 bet, you'll collect more than $93. Hey, if you think it's going to be high scoring, you think they're going to be in midseason form, go over the 54.5 points. A winning $50 wager gets you more than $95. It's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Let's put some math to our money now and get the analytics answer from our numbers guy, Ed Egros, joining us from Dallas. Ed, you combed the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You found a couple lines that you think need to be exposed here. Ed, where do the numbers take us?
Well, Lisa, let's start with the total between Miami and New England. I know a lot of attention has been placed upon the New England quarterback situation, but I want to talk about the Dolphins' Ryan Fitzpatrick. He is the most dangerous quarterback to bet on because of his volatility. For next-gen stats, Fitzpatrick had the fourth highest aggressive throw percentage at 20.9%, which is basically 1 yard or less between the nearest defender and his target. He has been this aggressive throughout his career. And also last year, Fitzpatrick finished 7th in intended air yards per pass attempt at 8.9. If the passing game isn't clicking, that aggressiveness down the field could lead to a lot of interceptions, especially with an opportunistic secondary like the Patriots have. Cam Newton now at the helm for New England. I'm expecting them to have a more conservative game plan. I'm not expecting too many points by either team. I'm taking the under total.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm going to tail you on this one because you also have two really good defensive coaches. It's Belichick against his old pupil and Flores now in charge in Miami. And I think we're going to see a chess match. A punt might not be a bad play in this opening week matchup between Miami and New England.
And Tony, another bet I think has good value is the Saints giving 3.5 against the Buccaneers. What should we expect from this Tampa Bay offense with Tom Brady instead of Jameis Winston? Well, last year, Winston ranked second in football in average intended air yards at 10.5. Leads to a lot of deep completions, but also leads to a lot of interceptions. Winston was third in bad throw percentage at 20.6. But for Tom Brady, he had less accomplished receivers in New England. He was 28th in average intended air yards at 7.6. And yet, his bad throw percentage was still high, fourth worst and right at the same mark at 20.6%. Here is my bold prediction for week one. I think this Tampa Bay offense regresses under Tom Brady, and I think the Saints cover this spread.
I'm going to fade you because the Saints have a history of not showing up defensively in week number one, giving up as many as 40 points. 2 years ago, they lost to the Bucs 48-40 in week one at home. I think that their defense is going to come out a little bit shaky. Give me the Bucs.
All right. Think the Bucs can cover the 3.5 they're getting, guys? We'll bet $50 on Tom and his new teammates, and you'll get almost $98 on a winning bet. Of course, you're fading Ed there. It's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Now it's time to get a little wild on this show with our More Ways Wildest Wagers of the Week. Guys, this segment, of course, pretty self-explanatory. And Dave, I'm coming to you first. Go nuts with your wildest wager of the week. What you got?
Well, under the player props tab, there is a bet who will lead the league in rushing yards. And I'm going to go with the 22-1 shot. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the first-round pick for the Kansas City Chiefs. Here's a guy that's going to get a big opportunity to carry the ball. Shady McCoy's gone to Tampa. Damian Williams has opted out for the season. And he's got an offense that's going to open up some huge leads. And then what are they going to need to do? Run the ball. That's what happened a few years back. Kareem Hunt, as a rookie, led the league in rushing with Andy Reid, giving him some opportunities. A 22-1 shot. Thank you.
Yeah, I like another LSU guy. This would be a great segment for Ed Orgeron because I like DJ Shark to lead the NFL in receiving yards. He is 90-1, and before you dismiss it out of hand, remember, this is a guy that went to the Pro Bowl last year, dealt with bad quarterback, back and forth quarterback carousel with Foles and Minshew, and still went over 1,000 yards. Jacksonville's going to trail in a lot of games. That means they're going to throw it around a ton, and he is their undisputed number one wide receiver.
Shout out to Coach O. I dig it. He likes to get wild, guys. Those are pretty wild wagers, by the way. If you want to get nuts with our guys on some long shots, you can check out those bets and more on the FanDuel Sportsbook app today. All right, let's get back to our NFL analyst, Cole Wright, here. With a unique wager available right now on the FanDuel Sportsbook, which week will the Broncos suffer their first loss? Cole, the odds are on your screen here. It's all plus money, so Cole, tell us when you think the Broncos will suffer their first loss of the season.
Well, Lisa, as I told you a little earlier in the show, I see this Broncos team going 9-7. I see them coming in third place in the division. They'll be 5-3 at the midway point, which isn't bad. Week 8 bye, that's pretty much where you always wanted to land. But I see their first loss of the season. It's coming week 2 versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, for all those Broncos fans out there, don't worry. There is a silver lining in this dark cloud. I have them starting out the campaign at 3-1. They're going to have a rough patch weeks 12 through 14, but they'll round out the season nicely. They'll get a win versus Buffalo, versus the Chargers, and the Las Vegas Raiders to round out the season. So 9-7 with that first loss of the year coming week 2 versus that stout Pittsburgh defense.
All right, so a little lump early, but that never hurt anybody. 1-1 start to the season. Broncos fans, Cole says, put your money on week 2 here. If you agree and place a $50 bet on the FanDuel Sportsbook app, you'll collect more than $117. And y'all, we are just 2 weeks away from kicking off the NFL season, and there are dozens of Broncos bets available on the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. So which one of those lines gives bettors the best value? I want to bring in our betting experts to give us their best Broncos wagers on the board right now. Dave, you're going to get us started. What you got?
So many things to bet on, team totals, but you can also bet on which position in a division a team will finish. So let's talk about the AFC West, specifically the Denver Broncos. I don't think they're going to win the division. I think they make the playoffs, but to me it's safer to bet them to finish second. You're getting plus 220 odds because what if they finish 8-8 and miss the playoffs, but they're still going to finish ahead of teams like the Raiders and the Chargers? I like the Broncos to finish second in the AFC West.
I like him to finish third, so that's the bet I'm going to make, Dave. And I like him to finish there because I'm higher on the Raiders, evidently, than you are. Derek Carr, 70% completion percentage. He said he's got a lot to prove this year. I'm buying it. Josh Jacobs, second-year running back, 1,000-yard rusher last year. I trust the continuity and the coaching staff. I think the Raiders are overlooked. I actually have them as a playoff team. They'll finish ahead of Denver.
I'm going to go to the prop bets here, and I believe Jerry Jeudy will be a star in this league, just not right away. So I'm going to take the under 774.5 receiving yard prop bet. It's really because of the man throwing him the ball. Drew Lock finished 17th out of 39 qualifiers in EPA plus completion percentage over expected. And then it largely was short throws, finished with 6.8 intended air yards per throw, near the bottom among starters. I don't expect this offense to try and air it out very much, and Jeudy won't have the opportunities to reach that mark.
You brought up a rookie. We're going to talk rookies a little later in the show here. Hey, those bets available right now on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You say you don't have a FanDuel Sportsbook account? What are you waiting for? If you sign up now, FanDuel is sweetening the pot. New users get a risk-free bet up to $500. Yep, just download the app, sign up for an account. If your first bet doesn't hit, it's all good. We've got your back. FanDuel will refund you up to $500 in site credit. So I say let's party, guys. And I need my team back in here. Dave, Pony, and Ed, you have $500 to place on a risk-free bet. Let's make our viewers some money right now. Give me a team total that you're hammering that will lead to a big payout. Dave, I'm coming to you first.
I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears not to win 8 games this year. This is not 2018 when they were actually good defensively. They weren't very good last year. They're even worse this year. I mean, they would have to win 9 games for me to lose that bet. 8's a push. I think they're more likely to win 4 or 5 or 6. $500 gets me $884 on the Bears going under.
Lisa, I'm going to hammer the Cowboys under 9.5 with great odds, 500 to collect, 1175 on the under. I think we're headed towards another soap opera season in Dallas between the Dak Prescott contract situation and what happens. Mike McCarthy is there, but he inherits an offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore. I don't see a situation where McCarthy just takes a step back and lets Kellen Moore call the show, and I think that's going to create a lot of drama in Dallas this season.
I have no concerns about the drama in Dallas at all. I think this will be one of the first times in years we don't see drama in Dallas. Cowboys finished 11-5 in expected record in terms of points scored and points allowed last season. Their actual record was 8-8. They were unlucky in a lot of different aspects, and I do believe under offense coordinator Kellen Moore that they were a top 5 offense in the NFL last season. I think they get luckier with slot receiver CeeDee Lamb. I think Mike McCarthy helps the overall structure of this franchise, and the Cowboys go over that team win total.
Such confidence, such passion on both sides of that bet. I love it. Hey, and both sides are risk-free. Sign up for a new FanDuel account to get your risk-free $500 bet right now. It is easy, it's legal, it's live. Take your winnings if you hit and get your money back if you don't. It's really that easy. Hot takes still steaming. Those guys are fired up. John, Sharon, got to get you back in here. They're placing those bets risk-free. We want to keep the heat turned up on this show. So give us the one hot bet that you're seeing at the FanDuel Sportsbook right now. That one line where everybody is placing their bet. What is it, John?
Confidence and passion, Lisa, is exactly what I'm seeing in Colorado from all the Mile High guys. I can't give you one. I got to give you 3 for the Broncos. Make the playoffs at plus 180. Look out for that boost to plus 210. That's by far and away our worst result for Denver to go ahead and do that. Regular season wins, our worst result is Denver as well, over 7.5 at minus 110. And in the MVP market, everybody wants Drew Lock in Colorado. 100-1 initially, down to 55-1 now. By far and away our worst result. So a lot of optimism in Colorado for the Broncos.
Love the insight. Thank you, Sharon, for that candid take. Moving on now, and one of the big headlines this week from the NFL was 77 false positive COVID-19 tests from a laboratory in New Jersey. The league says that was due to a contaminated sample, but it certainly raises the question if this could happen during the actual season and what it would mean for players and teams. Pro Football Doc David Chow gives us his take on this latest news.
Anytime you have 77 positive tests, that's concerning. But the only good news is they were all false positive tests, meaning none of the players have it. So the NFL still has a clean streak across about 10, 12 days now of no players testing positive at all. They will have to adjust and deal with the false positive issue. Perhaps they will test more on Friday night and have backup testing on Saturday, point of care testing Sunday morning with immediate results, because no player, no team wants anyone ruled out when they don't even have COVID. And this actually gives the NFL a chance to respond to it. Overall, the NFL has been very responsive in letting people know about COVID so far, just like they do with injuries. It's never lower body injury, it's knee questionable. And I think the NFL will do the same thing with temperature reports, COVID tests, to let everyone have a fair playing field when they make their wagering decisions.
Thank you, Doc. Now let's talk about how you can turn $4 into $1 million. Yes, it's daily fantasy time. That's right, $1 million, and all you have to do is enter the FanDuel Sunday Million contest right now on FanDuel.com. $1 million is the payout, and $1 million is the payout. The entry fee just $4. There are, of course, different strategies that you can use. One of them is stacking quarterbacks and receivers from the same team. FanDuel editor-in-chief J.J. Zacharyson gives us his top 3 stacks for Week 1.
Low-cost stack that I like a lot in Week 1 is Teddy Bridgewater to DJ Moore. Teddy's getting a lot of love out of Carolina. He fits in this scheme. That's all great news. They're also facing a Vegas secondary that should be beatable in a game with a 46.5 point over-under. And DJ Moore makes the most sense as the stack with Teddy Bridgewater, given the fact that he's coming off that sophomore year where he had a 22% target share in 15 games. He should be the top target, maybe aside from Christian McCaffrey, in that offense. So I like the two of them as a low-cost option in Week 1. I also like Jimmy Garoppolo throwing the rock to George Kittle. You know, they're facing an Arizona secondary and defense in Week 1 that gave up the most schedule-adjusted fantasy points to the tight end position last year, and there's a lot of banged-up wide receivers in that San Francisco offense, so George Kittle should see a lot of targets. But then on top of that, in the 2 games against Arizona last year, the 49ers and Cardinals averaged over 57 total points per game, and they were the 2 best fantasy outings for Jimmy Garoppolo. So I love Jimmy Garoppolo to George Kittle in Week 1. And then the last stack that you can go to, Russell Wilson to DK Metcalf. It's a fairly obvious one. They're facing Atlanta. It's an inexperienced secondary. But then on top of that, it has a 49.5 point over-under. There should be a lot of scoring. Russell Wilson is rightfully one of the most expensive quarterbacks on the main slate, but DK Metcalf is a really nice value at $6,400. So I really like that stack of Russell Wilson to DK Metcalf.
Great strategy, JJ. Thank you. And make sure to use JJ's info for a shot at winning $1 million in the Sunday Million contest right now on FanDuel.com. Just $4 to enter, and there's a prize pool of over $3 million when you play fantasy with us. And FanDuel is also offering season-long fantasy in a new and very unique way. It's called Best Ball, and it's free. All you have to do is draft your team. After that, FanDuel does all the work. FanDuel will calculate your top scoring players for the week, and boom, that becomes your starting lineup. Play with up to 11 friends or against other users. It's a snake draft format. It's so much fun. It's easy, and all you have to do is download the FanDuel app or sign up at FanDuel.com and try out Best Ball for free. All right, guys, last week you all gave us your pick for Offensive Rookie of the Year. This week we're flipping it to the other side and looking at the defensive side of the ball. Who will win Defensive Rookie of the Year? We've got Washington defensive end Chase Young, the favorite there on the board. Let's go around the horn here now. Pony, you're starting us off. Who do you like?
I'm going to take Isaiah Simmons from Arizona. What you look for with this award is a guy that helps a team that didn't make the playoffs get to the playoffs. Last year, we saw that with Nick Bosa, Darius Leonard, the year before that with the Colts. And I think Simmons helps the Cardinals do exactly that.
I don't mind taking a guy that's joining an already good defense, and that's the Baltimore Ravens. Patrick Queen, their first-round pick from LSU, linebacker. This guy is fast. He can get from sideline to sideline. I think he can easily amass over 100 tackles and win this award at 12-1.
Pass rushers historically do better winning this award, Dave, and that's why I also love Patrick Queen in this situation. Look at LSU's defense just a season ago. Defense wasn't very good to start, got really strong at the end, containing Trevor Lawrence and Jalen Hurts in the college football playoff, and leading that way, Patrick Queen, the national championship MVP. Already practicing with the first-team linebackers, he's my guy at plus 1,200.
And this bet is easy to find on the app. Go to awards section under the player prop tab. Place your bets on offensive or defensive rookie of the year. It's a FanDuel Sportsbook app. And of course, we cannot end the show without talking about the Super Bowl. Make this bet before the season and you're maximizing the odds you're getting. And that means, of course, just more money when you win. All right, guys, this bet is under the championship tab on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You see the odds right there. The value you're getting on all the teams listed right now, even if you're taking one of the favorites, it's Chiefs, Ravens, or Niners. So let's make some money here, Pony. Quickly, give us your picks.
I want big value. Kyler Murray in year 2 will make a huge jump, and the Cardinals are going to win the Super Bowl.
Most boring pick of the show, I'll take the Chiefs.
Second most boring pick of the show, I'm taking the Saints.
Hey, guys, I don't think a Chiefs pick any day is ever boring, Dave. Thank you so much, guys. I mentioned the value for odds on these Super Bowl bets. Here's what it means really in dollars and cents. $50 bet on Pony's cards, you win $2,500. If you take the favorite, the Chiefs, and who wouldn't, a $50 bet wins you $325. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here next week.
Fund your account with TVG BetCash, a credit or debit card, PayPal, a TVG prepaid card, Green Dot Money Pack, or Pay Near Me. Fund your account now. TVG.com.
Real players, real stories.
First, I saw the commercial, then my friend recommended Betfair, and I signed up that day.
On Betfair Casino, you can play your favorite casino games anywhere in New Jersey, including blackjack, roulette, slots, and more.
It's just so much fun.
When I play online, I prefer Betfair.
No long drives to the casino. No hassle.
If you're still driving to the casinos, save the gas and tolls. Put that money in your pocket.
Joining is easy. Go to BetfairCasino.com or download the app and sign up today.
I saw the commercial on TV, downloaded the app, and within minutes, I was playing.
And now, when you join, you can play your first day risk-free up to $200.
You sign up, you play your first day risk-free. How great is that?
I've played those other online casinos, but for me, Betfair is the best.
I wish I signed up earlier. It's just so much fun.
Join the fun today at Betfair Casino.
TVG Saturday. The Breeders' Cup Challenge Series continues with the Grade 2 Pat O'Brien. A win and you're in challenge race for the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Presented by Lane's End Farm. Join us Saturday.